How y'all doing? Good. Hey, I'm just up here to introduce Walter to you. Walter Moody is here with us today, and he is talking to us about the youth ministry position. And I'm going to read this text I got from Walter, okay? So I'm kind of putting him on the spot here. It says, this was last Sunday after church. Walter sends me a text that says, "Can I preach as well? I need the practice." So I don't know what that means, but we're honored to have Walter here, and since he said, "Can I preach as well? I need the practice," I said, absolutely. So Walter is going to speak to us this morning, and he is going to present a lesson to you. So y'all make him feel at home, and I'll talk to y'all later.
From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. Excuse me, I'd like to apologize. I'm very filled with drainage, so if I start to talk terribly, it's because of that. David in the psalm is at a place of great weakness. Is my mic? What? Can you hear me? Wow. Hello. Okay. Would you like me to start over? Do you want me to read the psalm again? No? Okay. Is this good? Can everyone hear me? Yes. Is anyone deaf now? I know Greg was deaf before, but okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so David, in this psalm, is at a place of great weakness. He has just been run out of Jerusalem by his own son Absalom. He is fleeing from thousands of people. He's being surrounded. He's being attacked. He's at a place of great weakness. I feel like if I was in this position, if I was betrayed by my son, if I was being attacked by thousands of people, chased by thousands of people, I would be at a very low point in my life. I would be depressed. I would have great anxiety about this situation. But David doesn't seem to have that. He starts with, he says, "From the Lord comes deliverance." He is always, throughout this passage, despite the fact that this is a psalm of lament, a psalm of pain, of fear, he's never afraid. He states the fact, he says, I'm surrounded by my enemies. There are so many things going wrong in my life, yet I do not fear. The lament psalms go normally by a very set of requirements in a lament psalm, right? It normally starts with an invocation, which starts with, in verse 1, it says, "Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me?" It's an introduction to the situation. And then a complaint comes forward, and he says, "Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. Though I am surrounded by many foes." He then says an affirmation of trust, saying, I have this problem, but I know that God will deliver me. And he says this in verse 3. He says, "But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. I know that even though I am in a low point in my life, God will protect me." And then in acknowledgement of a response in verse 4, "I call to the Lord, and he answers me." David has called to the Lord. He said, "Lord, I am in need. Please help me with this situation." And the Lord answers him. And then a petition, which normally comes before the acknowledgement of the response to the petition. He says, "Arise, O Lord, deliver me, my God, strike all my enemies." Asking is very important in these psalms, especially to, you lay out these terrible times that you're going through, and you ask God for help. And then he acknowledges the response, and he praises God for answering his prayer. And then there's the doxology at the end. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessings be on your people. Psalms 88 is a very different story, though it is in the same genre of psalms. It's a lament psalm written by Heman, a friend of the sons of Korah. And it goes like this. A song of psalms for the son of Korah, from the sons of Korah, with Heman the Ezrahite for the director of music. Lord, you are the God who saves me. Day and night I cry out to you. May my prayer come before you. Turn your ear to my cry. I am overwhelmed with troubles. My life draws near to death. I am counted among those who go down to the pit. I am like one without strength. I am set apart from the dead, like the slain who lie in the graves, whom you remember no more, who are cut off from your care. You have put me in the lowest pit, in the darkest depths. Your wrath lies heavily on me. You have overwhelmed me with all of your waves. You have taken from me my closest friends and have made me repulsive to them. I am confined and cannot escape. My eyes are dim with grief. I call to you, Lord, every day. I spread out my hands to you. Do you show your wonders to the dead? Do your spirits rise up and praise you? Is your love declared in the grave, your faithfulness in destruction? Are your wonders known in the place of darkness, or your righteous deeds in the land of oblivion? But I cry to you for help, Lord. In the morning my prayer comes before you. Why, Lord, do you reject me and hide your face from me? From my youth I have suffered and been close to death, and have borne your terrors and am in despair. Your wrath has swept over me. Your terrors have destroyed me. All day long they surround me like a flood. They have completely engulfed me. You have taken away my friend and my neighbor. Darkness is my closest friend. This lament psalm is much, much different than Psalms 3. He has an invocation. He starts with very positively, Lord, you are the God who saves me. You can save me, Lord. You have saved me. And he goes into his complaint, I am overwhelmed with troubles, and my life draws near to death. And all throughout the psalm, he lays out these things that are happening to him. He's surrounded like a wave. But then he breaks from tradition and he goes into not an affirmation of trust, but an anti-affirmation of trust. He says, you have put me in the lowest pit. You have put me in the lowest pit. It seems like he's blaming God. You have put me in the lowest pits, in the darkest depths. Your wrath lies heavily on me. You have overwhelmed me with all of your waves. You have taken from me my closest friends and have made me repulsive to them. I am confined and cannot escape. My eyes are dim with grief. And then there's half a petition in verse 13. But I cry to you anyways, Lord, despite all of this that I'm going through, despite the fact that I seem to think that you are at fault. Heman says, I cry to you in the morning, my prayer comes before you. Why, Lord, do you reject me? But so Psalms 88, different than Psalms 3, it has no affirmation of trust. He, in fact, asks God if he can, in fact, do these things. He's asking him. He has half a petition, a reference to, he says, I pray to you every single morning, every single day I pray to you and ask you for help. But he never says there's a response. You never see if God came to him and helped him in his time of need. And there's no doxology, there's no end. All it ends with is, darkness is my closest friend. This is a psalm of pain, of fear, depression, anxiety. I'm sure Heman was at the lowest point in his life. All of his life had been difficult. He had been near to death from his youth. Surrounded like a wave, like a flood, had completely engulfed him. He was so low. Yet he went to the sons of Korah and they helped him write this psalm, and he gave it to the director of music to be sung is praise to all the people. Even in his darkest time, he went to God. He said, Lord, you are the God who saves me. He still trusted in God despite the amount of pain and anxiety he was going through. And he went to the people. And he admitted his weakness. He admitted his imperfection. He told everyone what he was going through. And same with David. I feel like if I was in David's position with those family troubles, with a son chasing me out of my own home, I wouldn't want to have people know about it. I'd be embarrassed of the fact. I'd be embarrassed that I was in that place of weakness. But he writes a psalm, but he gives it to the director of music. Proclaims it loudly. He proclaims the fact that he's at a point of weakness, and he proclaims the fact that he is going to God for that. Greg, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well? That would be about my answer. I'm fine. I'm good. Is how I normally say it. I've probably been asked that question 30, 40, 50 times this week. It's what we do when we walk past people we know, friends, acquaintances. You say, how you doing? And we say, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm great. I'm a liar. That's not how I really am. It's a social obligation to ask people how they are, but it's also a social obligation to lie and say that we're fine, that we don't have troubles in life. There's 100 different responses to that question, and none of them include anything negative. I tried on a friend when I was writing this sermon. A friend walked past me and asked me how he was doing. And I turned, instead of walking past him and just answering as I walked, I turned to face him. He turned with me and stopped for a second. And I said, I'm actually really stressed and filled with anxiety with all my tests and my classes, trying to graduate, finding a job, keeping that job. I'm terrified that I'm not going to be good enough for any of this. And I'm not blaming him. But he said, "Oh wow, I'm sorry to hear about that. I gotta go." And he ran away. I broke the status quo, right? The status quo was to ask how you're doing and to say, "I'm fine." If you break that, then he was caught off guard. He wasn't expecting that. He was expecting me to say that I'm fine, because that's what we're supposed to do. Because society has created this idea that we're always fine, that we're always perfect. Even in today's church, I remember my family, don't tell them that I'm telling you this. My parents, we would be on our way to church, 5 kids in a 12-passenger van and 2 parents. I was homeschooled, so that's why we had a 12-passenger van. And they'd be arguing about something. It wasn't very important. I'm sure they got over it very quickly. But they were arguing back and forth. And then we get out of the car at church, and it's peaceful. Smiles. We walk into church. We sit down. He sits next to her, puts his arm around her. My older sister's drawing on my younger brother. I'm 8 at this time, not like now. I'm pinching my oldest sister. We're a perfect little happy family. And then we get back in the car, and they're back at arguing, back and forth again. We do this. We put on this face, a facade, a false face of perfection, acting like we are happy, perfect, friendly families, when in reality we argue. We're not perfect. Perfection doesn't happen. No one's perfect. We all have troubles. We all have difficulties. David, one of the greatest people in the Old Testament, had difficulties and troubles. Even Jesus had troubles. He went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and he was so terrified, so stressed out about what he was about to go through, that he was sweating like drops of blood. Great passion, fear. And he went to God, but he also brought his friends with him. We don't do that. We hide ourselves. We hide our imperfections, the fact that we aren't perfect behind these false faces. We say we're fine, but we're not fine. No one's fine. We always have struggles. We always have depression and anxiety. Those are real things. I suffer from them. A lot of people do, yet we act like we're always happy. We act like we're always fine. If you would turn with me to Galatians 6, 1 through 2. Or just verse 2, please. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. How can we carry each other's burdens if we hide our burdens from each other? If everyone says that they have no burdens, then there are no burdens to carry, but really, there are. There always are. I have seen people who come forward in a place of weakness and they say, they start to say that they're in trouble, but then they see everyone around them acting like their lives are perfect, like they have no troubles, and they feel like they are the only ones. So they hide their burdens. Everyone has burdens, though. Everyone has these troubles, these problems. And it's today's culture where we have to be perfect. And in doing so, we deprive our brothers and sisters of Christ of the opportunity to bear our burdens for us. We can't do this alone. Have you ever heard the analogy of the sticks? One stick can be broken, but once you put 2 and 3 and 4 together, it becomes harder and harder, and then eventually impossible to break them. Yet we always stand alone. We're so afraid of letting people know that we aren't strong, that we stand alone and therefore are weak. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." In these trying times, in these, especially with Psalms 88, this man going through so much pressure, so much tension, so much pain and fear and anxiety. It's like the blacksmithing process, where a lump of metal is put under extreme pressure, brought to an extreme heat, a crucible. It's about to be turned into something, and if it's not turned into something correctly, then it will be weak. It will be easily broken. It will be ugly. It'll be a lump of metal, easily broken to hurt those around it. But if we, as we are supposed to, sharpen those around us, if we help mold people, if we help those who are going through their crucible, who are in pain, have anxiety, have depression, are in trouble, if we help them, if we help mold them, then they will come out as a beautiful tool, strong, made correctly, ready to do what it was meant to do. If it's ignored, if we ignore this call, if we let those around us go through this crucible of pain and fear alone, they will leave it weaker, ready to break, not suited for the task at hand of bringing forth the kingdom of God. We are called to mold those around us to be better tools for Christ, sharpen them. Yet we hide the fact that we ever go through the fire. John 15, verse 13 says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." I'm not asking you to lay down your life, though that would be the greatest love. I'm asking for a couple minutes, an hour. Don't be like my friend back at school who ran away as soon as I mentioned that I was going through troubles. If someone is brave enough to come to you with these problems to say that they have troubles, don't run away from them. Give of your time. Just a little bit. Talk to them. Mentor them. Tell them that it's okay, that God still loves them, and that you will help them get through this time. We are called to bear each other's burdens. We are called to sharpen each other. We are called to lay down our lives, our time for each other. But we can't do that if we keep acting like everything is perfect, like our lives are perfect. Because if our lives are perfect, then what are the point of these passages? The authors of these passages, God knows that we aren't perfect, that we have pain, anxiety, and fear. Pain exists. So why are we hiding it from each other? If today's message has spoken to you in any way, if you feel like you need to come forward, talk to somebody, and lay forward your fears and your pain, or if you are willing to accept somebody who has those pains and anxiety, please come forward as we stand and as we sing.